As dawn approached, the tension in the clearing intensified, and Ella, Daniel, and Tommy stood united before the spirit, their hearts racing with a mixture of fear and determination. The weight of the moment settled heavily upon them, and Ella realized that to restore balance to Blackwood Hollow, they would have to confront not only the spirit's anger, but also the dark truths buried within their own community. The spirit's presence was both majestic and terrifying, a reminder of the consequences of generations lost in neglect. With the townsfolk oblivious to the real struggle unfolding in the woods, Ella felt a deep urgency to act. They had invoked the spirit, and now it was time to prove their commitment to honoring the land. "Please," Ella implored, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling in her mind. "We want to restore what has been lost. We'll do whatever it takes to bring peace back to the land." Daniel's grip tightened on her shoulder, fear in his eyes reflecting the gravity of their situation. The spirit's gaze seemed to penetrate their very souls, assessing their sincerity. Tommy, standing beside them, clutched the talisman he had found earlier, a token of protection he believed could aid their cause. "We promise to remember and honor the rituals, to tell the stories that were forgotten," he added, his youthful courage shining through the darkness. The spirit's form shimmered, flickering between realms as it contemplated their plea. "Sacrifice is required," it intoned, its voice echoing like thunder. Words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. To mend the rift between the land and its guardians, one must give of themselves. Ella's heart sank as she understood the weight of the spirit's demand. Sacrifice would not be easy, and the bond between the three of them would be tested in unimaginable ways. As the spirit continued to speak, it revealed the significance of the talisman, a relic meant to protect the land's chosen, but it could only be activated by a willing sacrifice, a piece of one's essence to restore what had been broken. Ella felt the gravity of the moment crash down upon her. She exchanged worried glances with Daniel and Tommy, realizing that the path ahead required not just bravery, but an ultimate act of love for their community and the land they cherished. "I'll do it," she declared, her voice trembling yet resolute. The spirit paused, its presence shifting with palpable energy. "Are you prepared to give up a part of your life's essence?" it asked, the air around them charged with ancient power. Daniel immediately protested, grasping Ella's arm. "No, we can find another way." "You can't." Ella interrupted him, her resolve unwavering. "If it means saving our home, I have to do it." As the first rays of dawn broke through the trees, illuminating the clearing in a golden light, Ella stepped forward, holding Tommy's talisman tightly in her hand. Spirit watched her intently, its eyes a swirling tempest of energy and sorrow. "Your sacrifice will be a beacon, pledged to honor the land and its spirits," it said. With a deep breath, Ella closed her eyes, envisioning her life intertwined with the town, its history, and the land that had nurtured her family for generations. In that moment, she felt the weight of the past, the hopes of her ancestors, and the struggles of her community pressing upon her heart. With a swift motion, she placed the talisman on the altar, allowing a surge of warmth to radiate through her body as she surrendered a part of her essence. It felt like a gentle tug, as if a thread connecting her soul to the land was being woven back together. The air crackled with energy, and as the talisman began to glow, the spirit transformed, taking on a more benevolent form. The shadows that had loomed around them lifted, revealing vibrant colors of the forest that had been hidden in darkness. Ella felt a rush of visions, images of the town thriving, families gathering, and the harvest flourishing once more, filling her with a profound sense of purpose and connection. In that pivotal moment, Daniel and Tommy watched in awe and fear, realizing that Ella's sacrifice was not just an act of desperation, but a profound commitment to the future of Blackwood Hollow. Spirit seemed to absorb the energy of her sacrifice, glow from the talisman growing brighter until it illuminated the entire clearing. "You have honored your ancestors and the land," the spirit proclaimed, its voice now echoing with a soothing cadence. "Your offering shall restore balance and ensure the survival of your community." As the light enveloped them, Ella felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that her choice would not only save the land, but would also serve as a reminder for future generations to cherish and respect their roots. As dawn broke fully, the spirit began to fade, its essence blending with the sunlight filtering through the trees. The woods felt alive with energy, and the trio stood in silence, absorbing the weight of what had transpired. They had confronted darkness and emerged transformed, bound together by their shared sacrifice and newfound understanding of the land's sacredness. With the festival now drawing near, Ella, Daniel, and Tommy turned back towards Blackwood Hollow, ready to share the truth of their experience. Knowing that the road ahead would require their unwavering commitment to keep the spirit of the land alive. The community was on the brink of renewal. And with Ella's sacrifice, they had the chance to restore not only their crops, but the very heart of their town. As the sun rose over Blackwood Hollow, casting a warm golden light across the town, the air felt charged with a sense of renewal. The Harvest Festival, which had once been shrouded in foreboding, now brimmed with hope and vibrancy. Ella, Daniel, and Tommy stood at the edge of the community square, their hearts swelling with anticipation as townsfolk began to gather. The aroma of fresh bread, roasted vegetables, and sweet cider filled the air, mingling with the laughter and chatter that echoed through the streets. For Ella, the celebration held a deeper meaning, unrooted in the profound transformation they had all experienced just days before. The spirit's blessing had breathed new life into the land, and the crops, once blighted and despairing, now stood tall and green, promising a bountiful harvest. Maggie, with her wise eyes gleaming, moved among the crowd, sharing the stories of the town's history and the importance of the harvest rituals with renewed fervor. She spoke not just of the past, but of the responsibility the community now shared to honor their connection to the land. Ella listened intently, her heart warmed by her grandmother's passion, knowing that the stories they would tell today were not merely relics of bygone days, but living lessons that would shape the future of Blackwood Hollow. Inspired, Ella took it upon herself to organize gatherings where the townsfolk could learn about their traditions and the spirit of the land that sustained them. Each meeting became a celebration of their heritage, fostering a sense of unity and purpose among the community members. As the festival kicked into full swing, Daniel found himself taking the lead in sharing the stories of the town's struggles and triumphs, weaving in the tale of Ella's sacrifice and the spirit's return. Townsfolk, once skeptical of the old legends, now gathered around, captivated by the rich tapestry of their shared history. Tommy, his youthful energy infectious, led games and activities, encouraging everyone to participate, fostering connections that transcended age and background. It was a day filled with laughter and joy, but also reflection, a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. Each person was reminded that they had a role to play, a duty to respect the land that provided for them. As dusk settled over Blackwood Hollow, celebration culminated in a communal feast. Townsfolk gathered around long tables adorned with vibrant flowers and the season's harvest, their hearts full of gratitude. Ella felt a sense of peace wash over her as she watched her community come together, sharing food and stories under the twinkling stars. The once silent woods now resonated with the laughter and camaraderie of those who understood the importance of their connection to the earth. They raised their glasses in a toast, not just to the bountiful harvest, but to the lessons learned from their ancestors and the spirit that had guided them back to harmony. In the months that followed, Blackwood Hollow thrived as never before. crops flourished, and the spirit of cooperation and community grew stronger. He would sit by the altar, now adorned with flowers and offerings, reflecting on the connection that had been rekindled between the community and the spirit of the land. Ella would tell Tommy stories of the night they confronted the darkness, of the bravery it took to face their fears, and of how sacrifice can pave the way for healing and growth. The talisman Tommy had once found became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there was always a path back to light. As Ella looked out over the fields one evening, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, she felt a profound sense of belonging. The past, with all its struggles, had shaped who they were, but it was the future, bright and full of promise, that filled her heart with joy. Blackwood Hollow had emerged from the shadows, forever changed but stronger for it. They had learned that to truly thrive, they must honor the spirits of the land, weaving their stories into the very fabric of their lives. In that moment, she knew that the bond they had forged would endure, going through the generations as they nurtured the land that had nurtured them, ensuring that the darkness would never return. The themes woven throughout the story of Blackwood Hollow resonate deeply with the complexities of community, interconnection between humanity and nature, and the importance of honoring one's heritage. Central to the narrative is the theme of redemption, illustrating how individuals and communities can confront their past mistakes to foster healing and renewal. Ella's return to her hometown symbolizes not only a personal journey, but also a collective reckoning with the neglect of traditions that once bound the community together. This theme is closely linked to sacrifice, as Ella's willingness to give a part of herself to restore balance to the land reflects the profound impact of selflessness on both personal and communal levels. Another significant theme is the power of stories. Oral traditions shared by Maggie and the townsfolk serve as a reminder of the wisdom and knowledge that can guide future generations. Through these stories, the community learns to respect and honor the land, recognizing that their survival is intricately tied to its well-being. The narrative also explores the tension between progress and tradition, showcasing the struggle between modern scientific approaches to agriculture and the ancestral rituals that have sustained the land for centuries. This conflict ultimately resolves in a harmonious blend where the community embraces both its history and innovative practices to cultivate a sustainable future. Finally, the theme of connection emerges as a vital thread, highlighting the relationships among the characters, the ties to the land, and the collective responsibility they share. It underscores the idea that true prosperity comes not from isolation, but from a deep understanding and respect for the environment and each other, reminding readers that the threads of humanity are woven together, creating a vibrant tapestry of life that thrives on cooperation and empathy. For more scary horror stories, please subscribe.